When we go back to the computers, you need to log on to your PurpleMash account. Remember, you need to start with your computer number. I'm going to use our class account just to be able to show you the demonstration of what we will be doing today. And once we've logged on, you'll be on your home page. Looking at the top bar, you can see the tabs along the top. We're moving to the third one along. It says Tools with the blue and red pen, and click on Tools. From the Tools menu, we're going to choose 2PaintAPicture. Now, once you open 2PaintAPicture, you will see this pop-up window, which gives us a selection of tools. Let's remind ourselves of the learning objective: to use a range of paint tools to create a multi-layered image. So we will be using several of these tools to be able to create our winter scene picture. But together we're going to start by building a snowflake. After that, you can decide whatever you want to build inside your painting of your characters and your scenery. But we're all going to start by making a snowflake. To do that, we're going to move along our top line until we choose Slice. Click on top of the selection of our tool and click OK. Now, when you're in the Slice tool, you'll see this blue box, and the blue box, if we click and drag, allows us to change the size of the slice of our working area. Now, this slice is going to allow us to create a symmetry painting, so that whatever we draw within our marker slice section will be repeated throughout our canvas. Now we're going to start with a winter scene. So I'm going to choose a dark night to have my snowflakes floating along in the sky. So I'm going to choose a darker blue pen. I'm going to click on top of the paint pot, and then I want to click inside my selection area, and that's going to flood my canvas with this dark night sky picture. We're going to now start creating our snowflake. I'm going to click on top of the white pen here. Then we need to be looking at our brush sizes. Underneath the paint icon, we have this little slider bar to choose the size of our brush paint. Now we're going to be experimenting with our paint design throughout today. And that means that we're going to want to undo and create and try different things. So don't be afraid to start out and play around with your design. Now I want to create a snowflake, and that means that we're going to have symmetry of our lines. I'm going to start with my design in the middle, and I'm going to brush my paint up the screen. Now, that looks great on my symmetry, but what I've realised is I don't really have such a big size snowflake if I'm wanting lots of them in the sky. This is much too big. So I really want to make it smaller so that I can show several snowflakes floating down in the sky. So I'm going to use my undo tool now. So I've looked at the size and I realise I need that a bit smaller. And click undo. I'm going to try that again. I think my brush size was okay, but I think I needed to make it a little bit smaller on my snowflake. Let me try this. Yep, not bad. I think that's about the right size. Now I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller while I add the design to my snowflake. Nope, still a little too big, so I'm going to use my undo tool, and that's going to help me change my design as I go along and edit and improve it. I don't want you to be using the rubber, because you just need to use the undo tool to be able to change your designs as you go along. Yeah, I think that's looking a little bit better. There you go. Now I want to add some detail to my design, so I'm going to still change, and let's have a look. You will decide, whoops, too big. You'll decide decide the design of your snowflake. Let's have a look. Ooh, yeah, I quite like that. And a little bit smaller again. And I think I shall add just a tiny little bit of white back into the middle. And I think I'm finished where I need to be. Let's have a look. Yeah, a little bit smaller. There you go. Great, I have got my snowflake design all finished. And I'm happy with that. Now, when I have completed my snowflake, I need to make sure I've saved. This is very important at this stage. So I know your teacher's going to stop and give you a reminder that we need to be saving. Looking along our toolbar again, I'm coming to my save icon, because you can see the name when I hover over. Click on top of save, and we need to give our file a name. Now you can see that I've been practicing today, but you need to come down to the box and type in your name. So I'm going to call mine a snowflake and click save. You could just type snow and save. Now I've already been practicing, so I'm going over the top, but yours will just save your work. Now we're going to take this snowflake design and add it to the additional tools so that we can build up the layer of our picture. If I click now on top of this white piece of paper that says new, we're going to click on a new piece of paper. Don't worry, we're not going to lose our picture, because remember our learning objective, to use a range of paint tools to create a multi-layered image. All we've got so far is a snowflake. Really, we need to create the background of the snow falling. So this time on my Paint Tools window, I'm going to click on top of Pattern, so I can use my snowflake to create a snowy scene background. And this is what's really important. Once you've chosen your tool, it's going to say, do you want to use this picture? It's very important that we keep choosing yes. Yes, we want to use this picture to add lots of layers to our painting. Now you can see the beautiful snowflakes have shown us a repeated pattern as a backdrop to our painting. The only thing is these are a little bit big, even though we try to make them quite small in our painting, but we can use this slider marker to change the sizes of our snowflakes in our background. Oh no, I think I'm getting them a little bit bigger. Let's use the slider in another direction. I think that looks a little bit better. I can still see that they're snowflakes, but they look too perfect in lines. You don't see snow falling in perfect lines. Can you see these buttons above the slider? You can click on them to see if your snowflakes change a little. Quite like that pattern. Let's have a look, see if there's some more. Change them around. Ooh. Now it's up to you. You've got to decide which pattern you think looks the best. I'll leave that up to you. I've chosen mine and I'm happy with that. And I want to save this picture now as my background. Click on top of save, my work, and I'm going to call it the sky, because that's going to be my snow scene sky, and save. Excellent, so I've got that in case I lose my work and need to return to it. But I'm going to carry on. Again, I want to go and choose another paint tool, so I need to click on top of the new to get a new window in order to choose the next tool. Now, this is where we start to create those multiple layers. I've got my background, and now I need to think of the next part of my winter snow scene. I need to play around with these tools. I think I'm going to click on top of the swirly. I want a strong paint colour. Click OK, and again we've got this window selection that says, do you want to use your painting you've made so far? Yes, we do. I'm going to get some ground. I'm going to think about creating a path on my snow, my winter scene. Now it's winter time, so there's not lots of grass around. So I'm just making a little bit of a bumpy path around. So we need to cover up that part of our painting that shows the background sky. I'm going to do this pretty quickly. Now, I think that's okay, but we need to smooth it over a little bit. I know that that's a bumpy path, but I need to smooth it down just a little bit. So I'm going to choose another tool. Click onto new tool. I want to smooth it out a little bit. Not sure which tool will work, and remember you can undo. I'm going to choose acrylic. See if we can get that to be a little bit softer. Yes, and I still want it to be a pebbly kind of path colour. Ooh, no, you see now that doesn't look like a path at all, does it? So I'm going to use my undo tool and I'm going to choose something different. So the acrylic didn't work for me. I wonder what else I could try. Let's have a look at the Impressionism and click OK. Yes, I do want to use my picture. And what I want to start with is I want to add some pebbles to my pathway. Now this is important. On this tool I've got a water tank, and that allows me to change the level of water that's added to my paint. The more water I have in, the paler and runnier, waterier the paint will be. But the less water I add, the stronger the colour I choose will be. And that will be stronger on my path. I'm going to leave it in the middle and see what happens. Choose a bit of a grey part here. Oh yes, look! That seems to smooth it out a little bit. So it looks a little bit more like a gravelly path. I quite like that. What would happen if I added less water? Let's have a look. Oh, you can see much more of the grey, but I don't think that really looks smooth. So I'm going to use undo. I tried it in my design and I'm glad I gave it a go. But I now know that if I click undo and I do need to add a little bit of water, what happens if I go right to the top? Oh, that's hardly any change at all. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle, and that's all going to be part of your design. And remember that as you go through your design, some things you will like and you will keep and save, some things you will click undo. But that's the beauty of being an artist and editing and improving your work. Well, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to leave that there. Now let me think though. If I've got snowflake coming down, I really want to show that there's some snow on the ground. I've got an up and down arrows, so I'm going to use those arrows to try and choose some snowflakes. Going to reduce my paint, my water, because I want them to look like snow. I think I need to have even less water in there. Undo. Bring that right down. I think I'm going to make my brush size a little bit smaller as well and make it look like I've got some sprinkles coming out of the sky. No, maybe I need to have my brush a little bit bigger. And you will be playing around with your designs as you go along to be able to design your sprinkle a little bit along that looks like I've got some snow falling from the skies down onto the ground. There you go. That looks quite nice. Now, I'm going to save that picture, and now I'm going to start. So I've got the background, I've got the floor, I've got the snow on top, so I'm building my layers as I go along. I need to go and get a stronger paint now to build my character. I wonder if you can tell what I've decided to be for my winter snow scene. Now, I'm going to go and choose the white. I haven't got a water palette, so I know that it's going to be nice strong paint. And I'm going to start to build my character. Let's have a look. What do you think this is going to be? I bet you're starting to guess already. Now, I chose the swirly tool because if I'm going to make what looks like a big snowball, snowballs aren't perfectly clean and perfectly flat. They are all bobbly of snow all crumpled together. Let me go smaller on the brush. I want to go a bit smaller on my next snowball. I don't think I'm going to leave this just as a snowball. What do you think I'm making here? Let's fill that in. Yep, think it's coming together. Have you been able to guess what it is yet? I bet you have. Yep, I've decided to make a snowman for my winter scene. Now, can you see how the picture's starting to develop using the multiple layers? I'm using a range of paint tools, and I've started from the snowflake to the sky background, the path, and now I've got my character. I think it's really important that I save it at this time, just in case I make any mistakes I need to bring it back. So I'm going to click on top of the save, and this time I'm going to give it the name Snowman. I think you knew exactly what I was making, and choose save. Now, let's go and add some personality and some character to my snowman. I'm going to choose new. Now, on this poster paint, can you see there's little lines in it? And I think that might work quite well to show a really nice scarf around my snowman's neck. Remember to always use your picture so you're adding the layers. I'm going to choose the red, and I want a nice woolly thick scarf. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that looks much better, doesn't it? Does he look warm and comfortable with that? And then we're going to bring down. There you go. Now you can decorate this as much as you like and add as much detail as you would want to add onto it. Now after this I need to go with very simple tools so I can add the features. So if I click on top of new, I do need to be using the simple so that I can add detail. Click on top of the simple tools and say OK and add yes. Now from this point I'm using the straightforward pen to add detail to my painting, and remember to change the sizes of your brush. Now I'm going to add a hat to my snowman. Now a hat doesn't just sit on the very top of your head. You need to pull the hat down snug on top by your ears so that it won't get blown away. So the layer that we are going to add will actually hide the top of my snowman's head. All the way around. Now you can design a lovely hat. I'm sure you're going to give me a nice bobble hat or whatever you want to do. I'm going to make mine quite plain. I want to give my snowman as nice cheerful features on his face. Let's start with his eyes. Great. Now I want to make sure that my brush is much smaller because I'm going to have lots of little, whoops, too big. What tool am I going to use? Am I going to use a rubber to erase it? No. We've got to remember to use the undo tool. Whoops, there you go, undo tool's removed it. I want a smaller brush so that I can add little dots around, which are meant to be pieces of coal, around for my, how many undos can I have? Oh look, I managed to get them all, so it's probably got about 6. So I'm going to add little dots to give me my pieces of coal on my snowman. And then I need a little bit of a bigger brush to add the dots for the buttons on his body. There you go. What shall we do? We need to add lots of detail, and you're going to spend much longer than I am doing this lovely detail to make your picture and your character to come alive. And remember, all the time you're going to be using between the designs and the undo to build up the different scene of your painting. There we go, give him a nice little carrot nose. And you can add as much as you like and build it up onto all of your picture. But I really want you to take the time to try and get it right and make it as lovely as you can. And I'm so looking forward to seeing whatever you've made. Oh, I've got the fill pot here, so I can add that in. Right, what am I going to add onto here? Let's have a look. Add some berries onto my holly. And I think the final touch will be to give him some hands, because I'm sure he can't wait to wave and say hello to his, whoops, undo, a little bit bigger, so he can wave and say hello to us. There you go. That's my painting all finished. Now, before we've finished our painting, would like to add your name to the bottom corner. So click on top of the ABC and type in your name. Now remember that we never add our surname to any of the work that we're hoping to be able to put onto our school website and to publish. Now, I'm sure your teacher's going to be choosing the best 3 paintings, maybe a few more, to put onto our website. So make sure that you don't put your surname, but I do want to see capital letters, and type in your name. I'm just going to put Robbins because it's for our Robbins class, but you type your first name. And then we've got to make sure that we save. So click on top of save one final time, and I'm going to call it my snowman paint. If I put paint or painting, then I'll know that my work has been finished, and click on save. Now, check what selections you've got. If you've only got my work, click into your my work area. If not, you may see a folder that says Robbins. Now, if you do see your class folder name, click on top of that when it's your finished piece of work. So if you can see your class name, choose that when you have completely finished with your winter's scene painting. But I'm just going to choose my work for now and click on save. Save my work. That's it, we're finished. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, all that we have to do is to log off, and then we are going to be able to add this painting onto some work we'll do next week. So, painting is all finished. Let's make sure we close down our computer correctly. We're going to use the back button to exit our 2PaintAPicture scenery. So click on the back. It says, are you sure you want to exit? Yes, we do. If you haven't saved, it will remind you, but I'm hoping everybody has been clicking on save. And then we're going to come to the log out button. Remember, if we've ever used our own account and password to log on, we do have to remember to log out to lock the door behind us safely. So log out, and then you are ready to log off and stand behind your chairs. Well done, it's your time now to go back to your computer and give this all a go. Your teacher will have this with you and will stop you a few times throughout the lesson and see how you get along. Can't wait to see your paintings. Bye!